Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's cast of the Spy Party Competitive League. We are nearing the end of Season 5 right now, and we are in the post-season Tournament of Position. Joining me today is my co-caster T-Flame,
How's it going?
and we have Aberar hosting. Thank you very much, Aberar. And so the match we have today is between AscendBeyond from Obsidian Division and Legorve Genine from Oak Division. And this is something that we haven't seen yet in the tournament of position. We've been seeing a lot of matches between a player from a high division versus another player from a lower division. That's how the seeding has worked. But the further in we get, the more we're going to see things mixed up. And Oak and Obsidian are actually two of the lowest divisions in the league. But that doesn't mean that either of these two players should be underestimated. So both of them are new to SCL. They just joined this season, and players in lower divisions might be really, really good enough to advance to higher divisions. And so the way the tournament of position works is that these top players from the lower divisions are all put together in a bracket of 16, together with the bottom players from gold division. And the players from gold division fight to hold on to their spots, whereas players from lower divisions like this are fighting to climb up and get those spots in gold. Now, unfortunately, both of these players lost their match in the first week, and so they won't be able to climb up to gold. But what is on the line is spots in bronze division. Whoever wins this match today will go on to face Jake next week, and the winner of that will get a spot in bronze. And whoever loses today is going to come out of this tournament without any promotion other than a one promotion jump for beating someone higher than them. And so both of these players have had very similar journeys throughout the season. Uh, each season you play 12 matches, and a win is worth 2 points. And so both of these players got a score of 23 out of a potential 24. They won every single match, and then they both had one draw in their last week after they had already locked in first place. And it's not just their journeys in SCL that are similar. They have sort of similar play styles as well. Isn't that right, T-Flame?
Absolutely. I think both of these players are extremely scary on the sniper side, both with disgusting win rates as the sniper. And it's going to get to the point where you're thinking, is it going to be a sniper party? But with Legorve being on the bottom side of this, he's going to have to get a spy win at some point. And so I think both of these players have been trying to work on their spy side to kind of get an upper hand on the other player. So I think we're going to expect to see a couple different things in today's match. I think we are going to see hopefully some good cheese, not the Kraft single type cheese, but some actually good cheese out there to kind of shake up the sniper play. Because if we can get a spy win, which Legorv absolutely needs, I think that can set the pace and set the tone for the rest of the match.
Yeah, and that's because the higher seed wins in a tie here. So if they just keep trading sniper wins, it's going to end up 8-8, and that means the win will go to AscendBeyond. So Legorve needs to pick maps where he feels he has enough of an advantage that he can break serve and get all the way up to 9 points. And speaking of that, let's take a look at the picks and bans here. Legorve doing something very similar to what I just said. Legorve is banning Balcony first, which makes sense. He doesn't really want anything swingy. He wants a map where he is confident that he can go up, and Balcony is not exactly that map.
Yeah, and it's interesting because if you look at the rest of his ban, it's been 8 times this season. He's banned Tan, but again, avoiding that swinging map is something he wants to be able to control the game and control the pace.
Yeah, Legorov has actually become comfortable with Taean recently. He went on Crazy Kaylee's 1,000 games of Taean in a month stream and did very, very well. And so he stopped banning Taean, and in fact, it's become something he wants to pick. We'll see if he brings it out here. Meanwhile, AscendBeyond has chosen to ban Aquarium.
Aquarium being the newest match or the newest venue, and there is still something that can be a little unsettling with that shark being across the screen. And so we'll see what happens as we ban that venue out.
Yeah, I actually think Aquarium could have been a good place to get spy wins, but it looks like it's not what AscendBeyond wants. And so with Legorv's double pick, he does something really interesting, and he picks High Rise, any 3 of 5. And that's surprising because Legorv generally has been a fan of larger maps. Both of these players are. And so it looks like he feels like AscendBeyond might have some sort of weakness here that Legorv can take advantage of. But AscendBeyond's double pick is a lot more straightforward. It is Gallery. This is something that AscendBeyond picks a lot throughout the season, and both players Well, AscendBeyond feels pretty comfortable on it. Legorve, I think it's one of his weaker maps. Is that right?
If we look at some of the stats there, it's definitely not a preferred venue, but some of these things, they're looking to shake things up, and so I think that's what they're trying to do with their picks to get the sniper a little off of their foot, and hopefully treading a little bit backwards.
And so the single picks coming in, Legorve has single picked Moderne and Ascend Beyond has single picked Courtyard. And these are really interesting because these are two maps, maybe the two maps more than any other map that we expect to see players split. And that's because they're considered to be sniper favored. It's really hard for a spy to get missions done on Moderne without being seen. And with Courtyard, it's really easy for the sniper to watch everything. They have a really good angle. And so, in a match like this, where Legorve needs to not just trade wins, but actually get ahead and get to 9 points, I'm not sure if Moderne is the safest pick. It looks like Legorve might be hoping to get ahead on High Rise and then maintain the lead on Moderne.
Yeah, and what we've seen from previous casts and previous matches is that on Modern, Legorv is an absolute beast on it. On the sniper side, with that being said, the spy, it really comes down to pacing and being willing to do one of those hard tells. And I think just both of them are so good on the sniper side, they get really nervous to do those hard tells that can kind of put them in a position to be shot.
Yeah, and so the final picks coming in from Legorve, we have Veranda, and from Ascend Beyond, we have Library. So we are going to be ending on some 5/8s. This is going to be a long, long set.
Absolutely, and especially if we follow the trends, it is going to seem to be a sniper party, and it might come down to that very last game. So every spy match, every sniper match here is going to be crucial.
Yeah, and so Legorv has been feeling pretty comfortable on Veranda lately. Feels comfortable on Library as well. I think both of these players are good with the 5/8s. Aside from High Rise, we're not seeing any of the smaller maps. I think both of these players feel very comfortable in their sniper play, so they're not really looking to get very swingy here. And so we have both of the players ready now, and they are going to be starting the match.
Yeah, and if we look at the picks again, I think they chose the venues where you really control the party as the sniper. We're not seeing Tayan, we're not seeing Aquarium, where there's something that's blocking the sniper's view or something that's interacting with the sniper's senses. So again, venues that they can control from the sniper side. We'll just have to see what they do as the spies.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that Legorov didn't end up picking Taya, and he has been just waiting to pick it ever since he got comfortable with it. But unfortunately, people knew that he was comfortable with it and started banning it against him, even though he used to be banning it every single week. But it looks like it's not what Legorov had in the cards. Instead, we're going to High Rise. I think Legorov might perceive that this is somewhere Ascend Beyond isn't as comfortable as other maps. They both have a very low sample size here, though. Ascend Beyond really didn't play a lot of High Rise throughout the season. But in the two sniper games that Ascend Beyond did play this season on High Rise, he lost both of them. And so that might be what Legorov is counting on here.
Yes, and one of the scary things about a 3 of 5, from the sniper side at least, is that sometimes the AI does, or at least perceives, finish their mission. But we are about to get into this first match, and it looks like we have Legorve starting off as our spy as Rocker.
Yeah, and so I'm wondering here if Legorv is planning to complete missions or is just hoping that Ascend Beyond isn't very comfortable on this map, and so Legorv might be able to just get a civilian shot if he plays it slow. And this first flirt is definitely not going to get Legorv a lot of suspicion. We weren't really close enough to look like an obvious flirt pairing there.
Yeah, well, we move from that flirt into statues, and we pick up a highlight there. So it looks like we aren't going to be doing the slow play, but we're actually starting off pretty quickly here.
Yeah, making early mission progress can be a way to get yourself shot here. It makes it a lot easier for the sniper to track who you enter conversation next to, who could be your flirt target. And also, if the sniper isn't comfortable on high rise, the go-to would be to shoot someone who completes statues. So I wonder if Legorve is planning on completing statues at all, or maybe planning to throw Ascend Beyond off by not going back to a statue again for the rest of the game.
And something nice that has just happened is our seduction target has also gone to the statues. One of the worst things that can happen with an early statue is to have a party that is not active, right? Because you want there to at least be some other highlights there if the sniper is highlighting for statues. And it looks like we're getting a pretty active party here.
Yeah, I mean, seduction targets have a tendency to be shot. I don't know exactly why that is, but it's good that we went over there. We tried to get a difficult fingerprint off of this drink, but unfortunately that didn't work. I think Legorve might have been trying to go for a difficult fingerprint, and if you get it, then you complete fingerprints. But since you don't get it, I wonder what we're going to see Legorve go for here. The statue finish is the easy option, but it could just get you shot.
Yeah, with 2 minutes being left, he has a little bit of time just to see how the party plays out. If he's taking note of the people that are going to statues, obviously he's going to want to have a good contact. And
Banana
obviously,
bread.
oh, and there the contact goes right there.
Yeah, and we had a safety off coming on Oprah right as that was happening, but this is a good contact. It's not giving off a lot of lowlights, and the good news for Legorve is that AscendBeyond just seems to have other suspects. A
Yeah,
safety off on hair means Legorve is not really at risk of being shot right now.
and the crazy thing is we have one of our twins that was just in that conversation going to statues right after. So this could be perceived as a very aggressive game from Twin.
I don't know if there's really any reason to not think that Twin is the spy, but now the safety coming off on both Rocker and on Hair, not coming off on the Twin at all, despite the Twin's visit to statues. So AscendBeyond is sort of on the right track, but it looks like he's in the middle of a 50-50 right now, and it's all going to come down to what Hair does. Is she going to go back to statues? She's entering a conversation. She's talking. She's close to Queen. Do you think that's the flirt target? If so, maybe you take the shot.
And Legorve has to be questioning right now, how suspicious am I versus the rest of the party? Because is this a game where he has to try to shake it up a little bit, or can he just play it out and hopefully a shot comes off? And I think as we enter this convo, we'll see what happens here, because we are the one chasing Hair into that conversation.
Yeah, now we didn't enter close to her, so maybe we won't get suspected for the flirt, but either way, is there really a need for AscendBeyond to take a shot right now? Because neither of these highlights have finished statues. The flirt is done now. If Legorve goes to statues, I think he could very, very well be shot. And Legorve is just going to have to make the decision. But where's Oprah going? Oh, no, she's going for the briefcase. I don't know if she has another print. If she had another print, this would be a reason to take the shot. But instead, Legorve feels no civilian shot is coming, goes to statues, and gets shot. Exactly like we expected.
And it was impressive from AscendBeyond on the sniper there to realize, I have all the fingerprints done. Like, I don't have to worry about Oprah. That's the first print, and was able to comfortably take the shot there at the very end of that game.
Yeah, and I think what Legorve was doing with the early statue visit was setting himself up to have options. I think Legorve wanted a civilian to be shot. I think Legorve didn't plan on returning to statues later unless he absolutely needed to. And so he gave himself the option, and he went for it because no civilian was going to be shot. He really wanted Hair to go back to statues, but because she went for the briefcase instead, Legorve correctly deduced that no shot would come off, and he took the only play available. But unfortunately, that play also resulted in his death.
All right, and we got our first sniper win there, to be expected, and now we have AscendBeyond going as Mom, aka Teal, whatever tickles your fancy there, starting off as the spy.
And so we have the same mission set up here. It's the standard one. The hardtails are all off. Both of these players want there to be as many suspects in the party as possible. If you have Purloin on instead of fingerprints, that's just less missions that the guests can do. In this case, you're really hoping a civilian shot comes off on someone who either finishes statues or finishes fingerprints.
Yeah, and we got Ascend with an innocent book right now, but it's not going to do much. But the nice thing about a 3 of 5 is you can get contact, you can get seduces, you can do a lot of things while you have stuff in your hand. So no worry with that, and there's a lot of time on the clock, obviously.
AscendBeyond is being really cagey with the flirt, entering so far across the conversation. So basically, you don't want to be flirt paired with Orange Sari, but right now it could still be that you look flirt paired with Kane. So you have to be really careful not to enter next to him and talk again.
Yeah, and that's one thing. I think High Rise just has a lot of time to it where you don't have to be too worried about the flirt. There's only 2 conversation circles there, and obviously some pads that they can go on, but flirting normally isn't the issue here on High Rise.
Yeah, so AscendBeyond is playing a very slow game, but the problem is the party is also being very slow. It doesn't look like Legorve is really getting much at all. There are no highlights at the moment. So if Ascend is hoping for someone else to get shot, I don't know if it's going to happen.
Right, I don't even think we've had anybody go to statues yet. A couple book visitors, but when you have the transfer of the microfilm off and the AMBA hasn't been there, there's no real point to going to the books.
No, and it looks like AscendBeyond is trying to adapt to it. He really doesn't want to get a lot of suspicion. He's entered this conversation. It's a different one without any of the same people as the first time. He's not even talking really. So sure, it doesn't look like he's flirting, but no civilians are getting themselves shot at the moment, and now AscendBeyond has only a minute and a half left.
Yeah, and the scary part about that, as we pick up our first statue, the scary thing about that is it probably a good chance of being a 3 flirt if we don't get a flirt in here real quick. We're going to need to hit a green if we want to keep that flirt as one of our possible options.
Yeah, and it looks like we're chasing Orange Sari here. AscendBeyond knows that he needs to get the flirt, but he felt it would be too obvious to go next to her on that same window pad. So instead, we're adding time. It's a
Wow.
really risky move on high rise because the
Wow.
windows are in plain view to the sniper.
Yeah, and does it on the right side of the venue, which a common strategy for the sniper is just to look at those 2 CC circles on the left. If the Amba's over there, if the Purloin's over there, be focused on there. And so Ascend gets that basically off screen and now has some more time to work with. But what is Ascend going to do at this time now?
Well, he's not flirting because Sari went back to statues, and I think those were the same statues that she was already at earlier. Hair is picking up a statue highlight as well, but it's for a side statue, and it seems unlikely that she's going to go back to statues again in the next minute.
Now, the scary thing here is I believe that Oprah has just finished statues. And so, again, if Ascend is aware of this, it could be a good chance to possibly frame this late in the game, having only 2 mission progresses and none done.
Yeah, was Oprah at a side statue, or was she at the center statue, or was
I
it her
believe
second visit?
I believe she was at that back right side
And
statue,
the
but then
red.
again goes to the middle, and the contact comes off, but we get sunshine and a lot of lowlights.
Oh, this is not going well for AscendBeyond. If Legorve knows that that was a sunshine and saw one of the double agents leave, there's even less pressure to shoot. AscendBeyond goes for a bug now,
Oh,
but Legorve
no.
was all over it and just takes the shot instantly.
And that's the hard thing. You could see Ascend had some sort of a plan there, but time started to get away. And I said this at the beginning of the match that, flirting's normally not the problem here, but it ends up being that case. And so we have to do a panic bug. Of course, the contact leaving us did not help. And we get back-to-back sniper win.
No, that's just an unfortunate case where nothing was working out for AscendBeyond. The party wasn't giving him what he needed. The seduction target wasn't giving him what he needed. The double agent certainly didn't give him what he needed. And he felt the only way out was to go for a bug there. And I think that's correct. You couldn't just wait for the double agent to come back in. You weren't going to be able to finish the flirt, and center statues would be certain death. So both of these players basically finished their spy games going for the only thing that could have possibly worked, but in both cases they were just already in too bad of a position, and so they were just not going to get away with it.
Yes, and now we'll see if Legorve, who started off kind of hot at the start of his first spy round, let's see how he paces this one and if he can set himself in a position to do something. Well, we get that first flirt, but it's the unfortunate 48. So we're going to need at least 2 more flirts with that.
Yeah, and I think Legorve just really, really hoping to get a spy win here. In fact, I would say it's absolutely crucial for Legorve's game plan, because when you go into the single picks, it's going to be a lot of maps that can be split pretty easily. Legorve really, really, really wants to get this early lead here, and if he doesn't get it, he's going to be in trouble. So I think this game might end up being one of the most crucial ones of the entire set.
Yes, absolutely. And I think a solid strategy for high rise, and we saw Legorve do this last round, is to try to get a difficult print for the first print. Because if you can lock down a difficult print, that puts you in a good position to finish that third mission. There's the contact, there's seduce. The question is always, what's going to be that third mission being done? And we'll see how Legorve plays that out.
And we tried to take a bug there. As the ambassador started leaving, we started leaving along with him. The laser hovers over us, but I don't think the bug was seen. Unfortunately, it didn't take, but it was a really, really nice attempt from Legorve.
Absolutely. And we see that Legorve is kind of setting up a bug here, and ooh, it's pinged for that highlight for statue, which is to be expected. That's what Ascend is highlighting for. But it seems like there seems to be a little bit of caution over Alice right now.
Yeah, and it looks like Legorve is playing this 3 of 5 the same way he plays 4 of 8s. He really doesn't want to do anything that the sniper has a good chance of seeing, so he went for that really, really clever bug there. Something that I think a lot of snipers just wouldn't necessarily be ready for. I haven't seen a bug like that very often. But unfortunately, it didn't work out, and so Legorve felt like he needed to go to statues to, again, like last game, give himself the option to finish those if he wants. And we're going to see this game if he has to, or if he's able to get a bug off so that he doesn't have to do that.
Yes, and this is another one of those venues where if you can get a bug off, you're pretty set. And I think Legor's bug setup there is basically walk along the side, get some good cover, and come off clean, but doesn't land. And so we still have 2 missions to choose. What are we going to do? We have 1 inspect, flirt's almost done, and we got to figure out that third one as usual.
Yeah, we really need the double agent enter conversation, but unfortunately he's wasting his time over at a bookshelf. The ambassador is in a buggable spot, but it's sort of the most obvious bug path on high rise. Legorve just waiting for the ambassador to pass by again, but not going to take a reverse drive by there. And now there's just only a minute left on the clock. Legorve doesn't seem very happy with this progress.
Yeah, but we get some flashes over Kane. So again, I think the contact is going to be crucial for here. Can we get Kane in the same contact as us, if we can even get it?
There we finally got the
Wow.
bug passing by the ambassador as he was at the back of the front conversation there, and it looks like that bug came off clean, not suspected for it. No real looking at Legorve from AscendBeyond right now. That's huge, but there's only 30 seconds left.
Yes, and what could happen here is Legorve has an innocent book, which is perfectly fine, but we're going to have to get a talk off and a contact, and we have our seduction. If we get sunshine here, oh, it's good. And there it goes. No?
Fake banana bread coming off. Legorve doesn't even go for the real one, even though he got the bug and the seduce done. He's hoping someone else gets shot, but now we're going to enter and go for a real one, but this time there's going to be 10 seconds of overtime, and we're going to be talking for it because it's a white banana bread.
Ouch. Oh.
It didn't take, though? I guess the game timed out? I thought that would have taken.
Either way, that really hurts there, because I think that was the spy one. If we just would have gone to the other conversation first, not done the fake. Now, the fake was a good idea, but at that point, why not just get a real contact?
I'm confused about what happened there, because I thought we entered the conversation with the real double agent and we did another banana bread, but I guess it didn't take in time?
I don't think it took in time. It was maybe right during that animation time, but it definitely did not take. And so we get back to back to back. Sniper wins, and kind of a heartbreaker here. Legorve's going to have to keep it composed as Ascend takes the spy side.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Legorve. He got away with the bug on high rise, and I think if he had just moved over to the conversation with the real double agent earlier and taken the contact, he could have won. Going for a fake like that is what you do when you don't have mission progress, and the only way you can win is to have a civilian shot. Doing it when you had already completed the bug and the flirt, I think that's just what cost Legorve the game. He was too tentative, and he didn't feel he could get away with going to that back conversation for the contact.
Yeah, and that's the thing as spy. You never know how much the sniper is looking at you, how suspicious they are, and so you can really be cautious in pulling the trigger. And that's what we're saying, is that these spies have to play confident, especially on a 3-5. And as we move into the bigger venues, you have to play confident, and you have to be willing to do the missions to at least finish them.
Yeah, these are just dominant snipers, and you're not going to win if you don't take a few risks. And Legorve was going for those risks with the bug attempts. They were very good. The first one was really clever, and the second one took without being seen or suspected, but he just wasn't able to follow through in the end.
And that's what I think. I think both of these spies, they like the bug because a well-timed and a good bug is invisible. It's just like Seduce. It's just like these other missions that, you know, the sniper can't see. If you do a really well-timed bug, it's good for them. And now we got to see what Ascend's going to do to kind of back that up. But it's looking like a sniper party 3/4 of the way, or 3 games in already.
Yeah, AscendBeyond looked like he was trying to be really aggressive with the flirt there. It's like he wanted to enter next to Twin at statues and get a second flirt in, but decided against it at the last moment and swerved away. AscendBeyond also got a fingerprint earlier from the green bookcase with a really clear chase to it right after the Amba had gone there. Maybe feeling like he has a little bit of suspicion right now, and that's another fingerprint off the drink. And since we're so far away from the ambassador, I wonder if Legorve was tracking it.
Oh, and they actually Ascend gets the highlight there, I think for the second print possibly, and that's a very good catch from Legorve, but Ascend's got that third mission done. We'll see if we can get the Seduce, and we'll see if we can possibly do another third mission. A contact can be deadly here.
Yeah, and so the Twin is highlit for Inspect. That's a potential civilian shot, which could come off. But the thing is, getting 2 fingerprints done is more suspicious than getting inspects done. It's just a little bit harder to do. And so if Legorve is aware that AscendBeyond has the 2 prints, AscendBeyond should theoretically be the top suspect now. But look how many people there are at
Yes, this
statues
is a
at the moment.
scary match as a sniper. We're having a very active party here. This very active party. So many highlights, and they're all doing stuff. They're not relaxing. They're all being very active.
And I wonder if AscendBeyond is planning to finish inspects instead of the contact. And I think that could be a very wise move because think, Legorve, oh, I was about to say, Legorve is in a tough position right now. And clearly it shows taking a shot on a civilian before the contact even came off.
Wow, and that's a hard party to keep track of. Normally when you have a 3-5, it's not that active and they're not doing all these things. But as we saw there, so many highlights, even in that last minute.
Yeah, Irish is the one who was at center statues, I believe. There had been no contact coming off, which means Legorve must have suspected that Irish had an opportunity for a bug at some point. And I think what AscendBeyond was going for there was a finish without contact, because with so many statue highlights, the sniper Legorve would sort of be relying on the contact to figure out who to shoot. Probably would have waited. So I think Ascend would have maybe won that anyway by finishing the inspects, as Legorve waited for a contact. Legorve is immediately heading outside here as Wheels on Gallery, getting a nice first flirt in the front conversation up to 34%.
Yes, and this set on gallery right here is crucial. We saw that the plan was for high rises to hopefully at least split even, but we actually, as Legorve, go down 3-1. And so this is going to be very important. If we can get this spy win here, we can get that back to 3-3 with a sniper. So this match right here is very important.
Yeah, the 3-1 result from AscendBeyond is not what Legorve wanted on High Rise. And again, AscendBeyond wins the set if there is a tie, which means that Legorve really, really needs to do well here on Gallery. And now we're in much more familiar territory for these players. Neither of them are a huge fan of the 3-5s. Legorve chose High Rise maybe as a targeted pick, but it's not where he's most comfortable. But unfortunately for Legorve, Gallery is also one of the maps where he's not super comfortable, so AscendBeyond has an advantage here as well.
And Legorve's just kind of, I think, analyzing the party so far, going from pad to pad, kind of moving around the party, not doing too much. We're at 68 with our flirt, but I think just kind of trying to soak in the party a little bit to see what's the game plan here.
And apparently the game plan is just to wait here at this window pad. The Ambassador is in a buggable position if we pass by, and that's exactly what Legorve is going to do. Take a bug path on the way to the green bookshelf. The arms shouldn't really be visible because there was a lot of occlusion. Yeah, well, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't know what was going on. I thought at first we were missing the pad back there, but it's actually we're picking up the briefcase, and so we're getting our first print, and it got really active there for a second, and Legorve sitting in a little bit better of a spot. Hopefully no suspicion there for Legorve.
Yeah, and so Legorve has had trouble completing missions as Spy, a little bit of pacing issues, and it looks like Legorve is really trying to fix that. Took an early bug. It wasn't like the most perfect bug ever, but it was perfectly serviceable. There was really no way to see it other than the path, and then just went in for the fingerprint as well. So much early flirt progress. It's really nice to see Legorve working on some of the Spy issues that he has here.
Yeah, and that's one thing for Gallery, is as we see, looking at the mission count, we haven't done statues and we don't have contact done yet. I think that could be a deadly pairing if you do them both together, but doing one of them separately, that's just perfectly fine.
Yeah, and the flirt is already done. There's a minute left. The only thing is we really need the double agent to enter. Unfortunately, she didn't. It looked like we were trying to do a contact right before she entered, but there was no room, and so it's definitely a fake. No SDA in the back conversation, though, so we shouldn't get a lot of suspicion from it.
Yeah, and I think Ascend, we got a little bit of a zoom in right there, is really nervous about the purloin in the back of that party. So checking it out, looking to see what's happening. But does it seem like a purloin's going to be coming off? And we still have that book. The question is, which case is it going to go into?
I mean, I think you would have to return it to the other case if you plan on finishing missions, because you're not going to be getting the contact. Who knows if she's going to enter in the next 30 seconds and getting another fingerprint. But Legorve puts it back where it came from, and that's going to make it really hard to finish missions in these last 20 seconds.
And again, we had a really strong start there. I think we had about 2 missions done with 2 minutes left. but Legorve looks like we're gonna have to go out for a time ad, or will somebody get possibly shot here? Oh,
Legorve had no choice but to do the time ad, but unfortunately got chopped for it. It's really easy to notice when the timer goes back up when it's in the middle of beeping and it suddenly stops.
yeah, and props to Ascend there. There was a couple statue visitors at the end, but Ascend holds on to the shot, able to have the whole party seemingly under control and take that last second shot against Legorve, adding time.
Yeah, the first half of that game was going amazingly for Legorve. Got away with a bug, got an early fingerprint, and didn't seem to be a major suspect. But unfortunately, Legorve decided to take a book out and just didn't feel confident enough to return it to the wrong shelf. And that just made it really hard to get the second fingerprint. And unfortunately, the double agent just wasn't nice to us. Not even a fake contact was able to get a civ shot.
Yep, and now we have Ascend playing Queen. We'll see if Ascend can play a little bit more confidently here and get another spy win, because a spy win here would be devastating for Legorve.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the season on Gallery, AscendBeyond spy win rate is actually 50%, which is lower than a lot, almost every other venue that AscendBeyond has played. I mean, AscendBeyond stats are fantastic as both roles, but there we go. Goes for a really microfilm and just gets shot.
All right, that's a good little break. I think Legorve needed that. Ascend on the other hand, didn't really need that. But what I love about that is getting a little bit spicy, right? Trying to shake things up and catch the sniper offhand. So now we got Legorve again. Same situation as last game. Needs to pick up a spy win here, because if it doesn't happen until the very end of the set, it's not going to look good.
Yeah, and so as I was saying, when it comes to stats for both of these players, their snipers are totally dominant. 78% sniper win rate for AscendBeyond throughout the season, 83% for Legorve, and the spy win rates are the same, 76% for AscendBeyond, 72% for Legorve. And so a lot of that, though, comes down from the fact that they were in lower divisions where maybe the snipers weren't as comfortable. But now both of these players are very, very good snipers, and so they're not going to be able to get away with a lot of the spy tricks that they may have been getting away with throughout the season.
Absolutely. We have kind of an ouch moment here. I believe Legorve stopped at the same pad as the AMBA earlier, but I don't think it was a highlight for a suspected bug. I just think they were so close to the AMBA that Legorve actually picks up an accidental highlight.
Wow, that would be really bad for Legorve. It's not great to get a highlight before you've even done anything, especially if there's any chance that the highlight means you're credited with a bug that you didn't do.
Yeah, and the one way this could play into favor is Ascend normally just uses his highlights for statues, and seemingly not doing. There it is on Salmon, but using it for statues. So I think if it is an accidental highlight, if we don't do too much with the statues, I think we should be fine.
Yeah, now here's the question. Because AscendBeyond was looking elsewhere, maybe highlighting Salmon, who was at statues, and is now going right back to statues, AscendBeyond might not have noticed that Legorve got the fingerprint off of that drink.
And that's what drink prints can be one of the hardest ones to track, especially if it's a difficult. But we just get the green on there, and now we're in the same position as last game as Spy. We have one fingerprint done, 2 minutes left. Contact comes off. Are we going to be able to get that last print?
I mean, that's the exact same situation that Legorve was in last time. He got a nice early print, was making really good mission progress, and then just wasn't able to get the second one. Last time it was because he had a book in his hands, and that tied him up. This time he took an innocent drink, but he wanted to get rid of that as soon as possible.
And Ascend, being the great sniper that he is, got a lot of lowlights just in the last 20 seconds there. With the contact, with some other things going on, gets to eliminate a lot of the party.
Yeah, and so Legorve just heading on over to the painting pad here, really waiting for the ambassador to leave a print somewhere. He's going to be leaving one on green, but you're going to need to make another stop somewhere before you head over to the green bookcase.
Ooh, and here it is, the statue visit. So we'll get to see what that highlight was for. Is he going to be credited with full inspects now, or what's going to happen?
And it looks like Legorve is just going for a soft tell game, and I don't know if that's something that's going to work against AscendBeyond. AscendBeyond is very good at mission progress tracking, especially because Legorve was a highlight. If Legorve has to go back to statues another time and get another print, it'll be really scary, and we're in the same situation as last time. Look at this. Legorve has to go for another time ad. Is he going to do it? No.
Oh, does
Legorve
it?
decides he's not going to be able to get away with it, and he has no choice but to try to finish missions in these last 30 seconds.
Uh-oh, and we're in the scariest position to be in. We're getting the last inspect, but Ascend is staring us down here. Do we go for the swap? We have to. It's 10 seconds.
It's the only choice that Legorve has, but AscendBeyond is looking right at it. We have to put the statue down and walk away, and AscendBeyond is going to see it the moment Legorve walks away, and with 2 seconds left on the clock, AscendBeyond is able to confidently take the shot.
Oh, and that's so hard because you wonder if you pause there for another half second, what's going to happen? But Ascend Beyond all over that again. Oh, man.
It was already the second cycle. The first cycle, Seek lifted the statue above his head, and Legorve knew that that was happening and that he couldn't swap it right then, or it would be seen. He had no choice but to do it in the second cycle. And it's just another case where Legorve wasn't able to get that second print. Good early progress, but just couldn't close it out. And we saw this time Legorve decided not to do the time ad to try to finish missions in the last 30 seconds, no matter how. But either way, neither of them worked out for Legorve, and AscendBeyond is now up 5-2, putting AscendBeyond in a really, really strong position to win the rest of this set.
Absolutely. That's a really strong lead there. Especially what we're saying is that, this is a sniper favored set right here between these two players. So Ascend's looking good being up 3, but that can be quickly cut. And we've seen some great comebacks so far this season, especially in the TOP. And so it is definitely not out of hands for Legorve. Just got to get a little pep in the step, and Ascend just has to close it out clutch here.
Yeah, and so Ascend is doing the same thing that Legorve was doing, getting early fingerprint progress. A very interesting return to the Ambassador, just taking 2 little steps over. Very nice that AscendBeyond was able to replicate that, but Legorve doesn't really like to lower people's suspicion level for things like that. Legorve understands behavior, but he is mostly going to be focusing on camping.
And Ascend's in a good spot right now. I wonder if a standing bug could actually land right there, but doesn't seem to be the case as the Amba moves away. And we're just hanging out in the front of this party, getting some flirt action, hanging out, first fingerprint done, and waiting to see what we're going to do for the rest of this party.
Yeah, and AscendBeyond not going to risk timing out due to low mission progress, heading back on inside. Unfortunately, there's nowhere good to go. The double agent's not in conversation, the seduction target's not in conversation. Now we're going in for a bug here on the Ambassador as we path over to the green bookcase. And from this zoom in from Legorve, it doesn't look like he was on top of it. Legorve is more focused on this conversation and on the guest list.
Yeah, and if we looked at it again, we could actually see Ascend's hand was visible. You could see it out just a little bit, but Ascend gets away with the bug.
Yeah, that puts Ascend in a really good position to get a spy win here and go up 3-1 on Gallery, in addition to the 3-1 he already got on High Rise. Legorve is behind now and needs to catch up, needs to find some reason to shoot Rocker, even though he won't have an accurate mission count.
In the red.
And there we go. We basically have 3 missions done here with 1 fingerprint left, but it's a minute and a half. And I believe going to that blue, is there a print at this?
There is a print here, and we are getting it, which means we've now completed prints. That's something that could set Legorve off. If Legorve has a good print count, which Legorve usually does, Rocker should become a suspect now. The only problem is Legorve won't really feel like he needs to take the shot for just a final flirt, and it doesn't look like Rocker is being watched at all. No consideration to shoot her there for finishing prints. All AscendBeyond needs to do is get the last flirt, and Alice, Ponytail, just entering conversation. Unfortunately, it's full, and so AscendBeyond isn't able to get in, but with 55 seconds left, we should be able to get this flirt, right?
Yes, I think this is locked in for here. The thing that could happen, though, is we could have a really fickle seduction target. But I think we're just going to go in right here, quickly flirt, and I think that's going to be a spy win for Ascend.
Yeah, it would have been tragic if that was 17%, but it was 18%, and as we can see from Legorve here, there was no suspicion on Rocker for the bug or for the prints, and so that's the second double pick in a row that AscendBeyond is going to go up 3-1 on. The score is now 6-2, and Legorve is in a near unsalvageable position, and this isn't really how I expected the set to go.
No, absolutely not. And I think at this time, and I don't know if Legorve will do it, but just to take a second, right? Don't worry about the cast. Don't worry about us going on here. Take a second, focus up. We're going into the second half here. You're going to have to make something happen here. Got to get focused on the sniper, but also What are you gonna do as the spy? AscendBeyond has been playing flawless on the sniper side here, and we're going into Modern, which we said Legorve has had problems mission completing on before.
Yeah, I was surprised that Legorve ended up choosing Modern. I mean, Legorve's spy win rate on Modern is fantastic, 92% throughout the season with a pretty large sample size. The spy win rate, 67%, so it's still pretty good, but it's a lot lower than Legorve's other spy win rates. And Legorve himself will tell you that he has problems with Modern pacing. So this is really not a good situation for Legorve to be in. He's probably not feeling great right now. And there's a bug right on screen with the arms sticking out as the ambassador walks by, but Legorve only picks up a highlight for it, and it might just be a highlight for Bar.
Wow, and if we can get away early with that, that is clutch. But again, we've seen Legorv make progress early, look good with 2 minutes left, and just simply not finish it out. And it looks like we're going very active again to start. Very similar to our very first high-rise game.
Yeah, Legorov is not going to risk timing out here. He knows that he needs to complete missions to win, and he's going for it. I mean, he's been going for it in every game. The problem with the gallery games was that despite the early progress, he wasn't able to close it out with late progress. But now, I mean, this whole set is on the line. Legorov cannot afford to take another loss here, and so I think he's going to ramp up his efforts to get mission complete even more.
Yes, and I think something that could kind of shake up the grounds, right? Shake up the style that's been played so far is to have a very fast-played game. Right, we got the bug off. We
Banana
can
bread.
start with our seduce. We got a contact off. That's 2 missions done, a fingerprint. If Legorv can speed this game up a
Banana
little
bread.
bit, I think that can catch Ascend off guard.
Yeah, and so the problem with this banana bread is that it is going to be letting off lowlights on all the people at bar. I'm not sure if I agree with that. I think that it could have been good to have all those people at the bar still neutral it because it would have made it really hard to figure out what happens when the purloin goes. But Teal, or Mom, who we delegated to, she was out for the first BB, but she had just left, so it's understandable if you didn't get it. But she was definitely out for that second one. And so I wonder if AscendBeyond is going to keep her as a suspect, but unfortunately the timer went off, and so the purloin
Ooh.
didn't take.
Now, a strategy that we have seen is that if you play as Sari, if you play as Salmon, you can see they kind of blend into the walls over there. And so if you can grab that book, sometimes you can get the book really without being seen. But being a highlight, Ascend is bookmarking, and so Ligor fills that laser and probably sets it back.
Yeah, I think what Legorve really wanted with that contact was to distract from the fact that the purloin was going off, but unfortunately the purloin timer expired, and that means all the contact did was let off a lot of lowlights. And now, despite the early mission progress, Legorve is in trouble yet again.
A minute 50 left, and what we thought was a highlight for Bart early on seems to not be the case anymore, as obviously the Purloin, the delegate timer would be done, and we still have that highlight right on us.
Yeah, and if that purloin had gone off, the mission progress would be looking pretty good because it would have been 3 missions, half the Prince and half the Seduce. It would have been going pretty well for Legorve. But because it didn't go off, he's in massive trouble. If he loses this, he'll be down 7-2, and AscendBeyond will be on match point. And Track in the chat correctly pointing out that this is the most behind Legorve has been in any set the entire season. Even the few losses that Legorve has had, it's been really close.
Ouch, and we don't hit the green here. We can still get the suction target flirted with, but we need to get a fingerprint. We need to probably do something with statues, and this game is looking difficult. Unless we did a time ad, but that time ad bit us in the butt earlier on gallery, so I don't think that's going to be the case.
No, and it's going to be too late to finish 2 inspects here. We're getting another fingerprint off this statue. If we want to finish, oh, we swap it immediately and put it right back down, hoping that we're not seen there. And from AscendBeyond's camera angle, AscendBeyond really wasn't watching for it. Suddenly,
Wow.
Legorve has the option to finish missions here, just needs to go in for the flirt.
Oh!
Safety coming off on Legorve, though. AscendBeyond seems to have seen the swap or is just suspicious of Salmon's activity in general. But Wheels is over at the window there. We're not going to be able to join him before he leaves, and that means Legorve is not going to be able to get this flirt.
We're gonna
Legorve
have to
leading in this
hope here.
conversation, hoping to just
Oh!
chase Wheels. Wherever Wheels lands, Legorve is going to chase him, see if he can get the flirt off, but it's going to be really obvious since he's already a suspect. The safety coming off again, and we're going to be returning to that blue bookcase for the flirt. Will AscendBeyond be able to take the shot for this? Legorve twitching in, and we're not able to get the flirt, and it's a
No,
timeout for Legorve despite his best efforts.
Oh! No!
Wow.
No.
Why was
What?
Legorve not able to get the flirt at that bookcase? We entered next to wheels. We could have. Was it a red flirt?
I believe it was a red flirt, and I think just the nerves right there, feeling you have to get it off in time. And I don't know, one of the most tricky things about this game is when that green flirt can be right on the edge, but just let it go out, let that whole timer run out, hit a white flirt, out.
Like chat is saying, it's nerves. There was no need to go for that action test there, but Legorve was just so nervous. Not only did he not get the flirt, he had to twitch closer. And I really wonder if AscendBeyond would have shot for that flirt if it had gone off. Because AscendBeyond was taking the safety off on Legorve, but the only reason to take the shot there is if you think that's the exact flirt pair.
Yes,
Oh, that
and
could have gone the other way.
absolutely, and it was a very clutch ending there. That swap there was impressive with the fingerprint, but just couldn't clutch it out again. And then we see Ascend is on match point, correct?
That is correct. AscendBeyond is on match point here, just needs to win this spy game on Modern to win the set. Now, is AscendBeyond going to win a spy game on Modern? It's pretty hard to do, as we just saw, and so we might end up going to the next venue anyway. Legorve should be in a good position to get a win here and at least stay in the game going into Courtyard, but then it's going to be the same exact situation.
Absolutely. It's really on the line here for the rest of the match for Legorve. And AscendBeyond has just played fantastic so far on both sides. Looking well, looking controlled, and you think with the score that's 7-2, maybe Legorve's a little bit tilted here, so a spy win doesn't seem that far out of reach. You know, we've got one on High Rise, we've got one on Gallery, so we'll see if we can get one here on Modern.
I mean, if AscendBeyond could finish this out with a spy win on Modern, that would take the victory from, like, strong to absolutely dominant. I mean, Legorve does not lose sniper games on Modern, so the least Legorve should be able to do is get a win here, especially because AscendBeyond isn't doing great with early progress. It looked like he really wanted to get a briefcase earlier. It didn't pan out. Instead, he's going for a green microfilm test over here at the red shelf. It's the hardest shelf to get away with a microfilm at, but because it was a green, he's gotten away with it, so that's something.
Yes, and a very bold move from Ascend, and I think bold moves are going to pay off in this matchup. And Ascend seemed to grab that a little bit earlier than Legorve has, and we saw that last game. Legorve got bold with that swap, and Ascend didn't seem to be on it. But I think it's a little too late to understand, you know, bold moves are going to be the plays in this matchup.
Yeah, and so we're going to see what AscendBeyond plans to do to get a spy win here on Modern. He's presumably going to go back to a bookshelf and try to finish the microfilm at some point. Now we're entering conversation. Might be able to get a contact here. There aren't a lot of people outside of conversation, so it's not a bad time. But you don't want to let off these statue highlights because Legorve doesn't have
Banana
any.
bread.
And there goes our banana bread. Basically got our seduce done. We got contact. We got the microfilm in pocket. And we'll have 2 more options that we have to choose from here with 2 minutes left as the spy in Modern.
Yeah, 2 minutes left isn't bad. We're going for the second half of the microfilm at a place where it's much harder for the sniper to see behind this conversation. The back conversation is really full as well, and it doesn't look like Legorve considers Seek a major suspect to watch anyway. Well, actually, we are zoomed in on it, so maybe Legorve is looking for this, but it's not happening.
Wow.
AscendBeyond can tell that the laser is waiting for him to do the microfilm. When you keep your laser still like that, it lets the spy know that you're watching them, and AscendBeyond correctly deduces that he's being watched and doesn't take the microfilm.
Yes, props to Ascend for that, but Legorve, you gotta bait that out a little bit there. It's similar to when somebody's at statue that you're suspicious of. Move it away, make them feel like they have a little bit of false hope there, and then snap it back to try to catch that animation. But AscendBeyond, very smart there, doesn't do it, keeps it in pocket, and plays it differently.
Well, that's great for AscendBeyond, but now there's a minute left and we still haven't finished the microfilm or any other progress. AscendBeyond might just have to go for a timeout here, but if Legorve considers Seek so much of a suspect that he was watching him at the shelf, he's also going to be watching him for this timeout. Lowlights coming off for the timeout, but it seems like Legorve is certain either way.
Yes, that's ouch. That's that. Oh no, his camera shake. The wrong.
Does Legorve not know which of the two it is between Seek or Alice? Well, AscendBeyond's picking up a statue and swapping it. Legorve is watching it, and so the shot is absolutely about to
There it
come
is.
off.
Ouch. Now, as much as we ripped on Legorve for kind of just keeping that laser there, able to, I believe, ascended 3 full cycles there at books, which can take so much time up, eat so much time with no mission progress being done. So Legorve holds on for at least another game here.
Yeah, and that's what I expected from Legorve. Really, really dominant sniper on Modern there, but really amazing from AscendBeyond to correctly deduce that he was a suspect and not go for the microfilm. But it looks like Legorve was just way more keyed in on Seek than we thought. Didn't have a highlight for the first half of the microfilm, but Legorve excluded watching everything else in the party just to watch that microfilm. You know, we were zoomed in. The ambassador wasn't even in Legorve's sight there. So Legorve must have just been really certain about Seek being the spy.
Yes, and now we have Legorve going in as spy on Courtyard. Now, something very interesting here is that as the sniper, AscendBeyond could have destroyed or beaten the headhunter to complete his perfect season, but actually got tilted on Courtyard and was up 6-2 or 6-3, I believe. And the headhunter brought it all the way back. And so Legorve, if it can do something here on Courtyard, could actually maybe bring it back and start to tilt AscendBeyond a little bit, just like in that headhunter game.
Yeah, I mean, AscendBeyond picks Courtyard a lot and has amazing win rates on it, 88% as sniper. But like you said, that one crucial game that AscendBeyond lost, he was up 6-2, and he lost one game on Courtyard because he didn't shoot despite seeing a purloin, and then he lost 4 more in a row, and it gave him the only tie of his season. And I think Courtyard is really a good place to be able to get away with a win against AscendBeyond. Legorve going in for a swap here, not even seen at the statue. That's how you do it, because AscendBeyond does not take shots on suspects that he's not 100% certain he has evidence against. And without seeing Legorve at that statue, AscendBeyond is not going to have a reason to shoot General here. Legorve is in an amazing place to get the spy win on Courtyard that he needs to stay in this set.
And there's that good cheese I was talking about, right? There's the goat cheese, there's the Gouda, and maybe it's too late for Legorve, but it's never too late. If you have a game being played, you still have a chance to make something happen, and Legorve having that hardtail done, flirt almost being done, is in a good spot here.
There's a contact coming off. So many people in conversation, not many lowlights available. And has AscendBeyond even seen the swap yet? Looks like the answer is yes, just took a shot on the person who he thought did the swap.
And here we go. Things are picking up back again. And we have Legorve going onto the sniper side. But something we've seen this season is I think we've seen a lot more spy wins on Courtyard. Even though it's normally the same sort of game, statues, inspect, contact, a swap, something like that, same sort of games. We're seeing a lot of spy wins actually this season on Courtyard.
Yeah, I mean, just last night we saw Zero Doom play JD also in the tournament of position, and there were 4 spy wins in a row on Courtyard. But that's what Legorve needs to avoid here. It's crucial for Legorve to get this sniper win. And if Legorve gets a sniper win here, the score will be 7-5, which will be relatively close in range for a full catch-up.
Absolutely. And I don't think any of us here doubt that Legorve can pick up the sniper win. I think it's the fact that he's going to need at least 2 more spy wins. That's going to be very difficult. But we'll see what Ascend can do. Ascend's played very well on the spy. Let's see if Ascend can close it up.
Yeah, Legorve just needs to rely on his dominant sniper here to get the win on Courtyard, and after that we'll be into venues where it's a lot easier for spies to win. Legorve catching up here would be insane. But it's not out of the question because Legorve is an amazing player, and you know, seeing those losses that Legorve got earlier in the set, it's not characteristic of him. It doesn't usually happen. Legorve doesn't fall behind by this much usually.
Yeah, and we got our flirt slowly making progress on that, but a slow start for Ascend here. And
ooh!
Ouch!
AscendBeyond tries to take a wrong arm bug. It's a really clever idea, but unfortunately the arm was on screen and Legorve was able to see it. And with that, Legorve has brought the score back up 5-7. That's just behind by only 2 points. That's as if your opponent only broke serve once. And now we move on to Veranda, which is Legorve's pick, and it's somewhere that he's been feeling really, really comfortable. It's not one of AscendBeyond's most comfortable maps. AscendBeyond only has a 50% sniper win rate on Veranda throughout the season.
Yeah, and so we'll see right here. Is this where Legorve puts it back to within grasp? And we'll see, do we get a little bit more of that spicy cheese, or are we going to play more of a clean-cut game here?
we're gonna see Spicy. Legorve has realized at this point that Spicy is the way that he can get these spy wins by.
Live by
That's
the
just my pick.
spice. Live by the spice. Starting off kind of slow, starting with the flirt, and maybe analyzing the party a little bit, but we can't really see too much with where we're at right now.
No, and unfortunately, it looks like Legorve is falling into a little bit of that slow start. The flirt is at 36% though because of a green, so at least we will be able to 3-flirt. But Legorve didn't want to spend a lot of time there heading out into the rest of the party, but seemingly unsure of what the next move should be as he just waits at a window pad.
Yeah, like you're saying, a slow start, but we pick up that first briefcase. So we got one print done, and we got 3 minutes to work with having a possible fingerprint.
No, unfortunately, it
No.
doesn't look like there's a fingerprint on it, and that's
Wow.
just as much of a surprise to Legorve as it was to us. You would think
Uh,
so early in the game there was still a print available on it, but unfortunately not, and that means Legorve has wasted a lot of time, won't be able to get away with that spicy early progress that we were hoping to see, and that I think Legorve was hoping for as well.
yeah, and with us not catching that, and with Legorv not noticing it, you wonder if maybe Ascend didn't realize that there wasn't a print there, and so Legorv might be credited with a print that he didn't even get.
Ooh, that's a wrong arm bug heading in next to the Ambassador, but
Wow.
Legorve only picks up a highlight for it. If he was shot, it would be all over. That was a really, really good bug, really good timing to get that wrong arm happening as you enter next to the Ambassador. I don't think that AscendBeyond saw it. He's only suspicious of the path.
Yeah, and you say just a highlight. To be fair, that's a highlight with 4 more missions to go.
That's true, with only 2 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock. That lack of early progress, the slow first flirt, the idling in the conversation, and not getting a print, that's going to be what makes it really hard for Legorve to win this game. But he wasn't letting it deter him. He clearly has the mental focus to get back in it. That bug showed us.
Yes, and honestly, what I think here, I might be overthinking it, but with that highlight, I think we need something to get the trail off of us. We're not going to be able to complete missions. Sure, we'll get our flirt done. Sure, we can get a contact.
Well, that's how we throw it off, because it is a fake contact and we're in conversation with just one more person. It really looks like Twin in general would, not be the spy here.
But again, Ascend not playing into that hand, leaving them as a highlight. And I think it's going to have to be some sort of green. Maybe, no, we're being watched like a hawk.
Oh,
I'm not feeling good about this one. Ascend seems to be on point this game.
no, I think the only way Legorve can win this is if he does a time ad, and I think the time to do it would have been earlier. The time to do it might have been after the banana bread when we had lost heat from not having a real BB. But now we get inspects and a print. We should be shooting up on the suspect list, especially if we go and finish either of those missions.
Yeah, and the party was all on the left side there, so we were just being watched like a hawk, and we do a clock or a watch check, but no time added.
And AscendBeyond is just continuing to narrow down the party. Another low light coming off on Orange Dress. And whatever Legorve was doing to try to lose suspicion, it unfortunately didn't work. And now he has 45 seconds left. We're going to be seeing Legorve make the same decision he made on Gallery twice. Do you time ad, or do you try to finish with just 30 seconds left? Oh.
Wow.
We tried to do a split. We tried to get into the window pad. I don't know what Legorve was planning there, but unfortunately it didn't work. The split was seen, and with that, Legorve's comeback comes to an end, and AscendBeyond wins the set 8-5.
And I think we saw what it was is a couple times where Legorve was just trying to shake the suspicion. I think realized that maybe the bug was seen. So that's why we saw that fake contact in the circle there, right? That's why we saw the contact to the split, just trying to shake a little bit of that suspicion. But Ascend was on point today as the sniper and on as the spy. But great games for both of them. I just think Legorve caught on to what he needed to do a little bit too late into the set.
Yeah, and Legorve was trying. He's been having mission progress issues, and so he was getting a lot of early mission progress, but then unfortunately he wasn't able to follow it through into the second half of each game. But I think it was a just tragic. No fingerprint on that briefcase. He tried to lose the suspicion, and nothing worked because AscendBeyond is just an amazing sniper, and I think that's sort of what the set came down to. They're both amazing snipers, but unfortunately, Legorve just was a little bit off when he needed it. You know, that game on Gallery where AscendBeyond was Rocker and Legorve just let Rocker get, two fingerprints and a
Yeah,
bug without
and a
suspicion.
bug. Yeah,
But either way, I'm really impressed to see how Legorv handled it. Modern was the same thing as Veranda. It could have gone very differently if just one mission had gotten done. If that Purloin timer hadn't gone off. But Ascend Beyond played amazingly, and he absolutely deserves this win here.
absolutely. And with that being said, I just want to say thank you to both of the players. A great match and a fantastic match. There are two bottom divisions, but they're showing that there still is strength being in the bottom, showing that they have some amazing plays. Um, and again, showing what a sniper can do. What an amazing set from both of them.
Yeah, and so with this, Legorve is not going to be able to get a promotion up to any of the top 8 spots anymore. And Ascend Beyond next week is going to play against Jake Armstrong from the top of Challenger Division. And whoever wins that match is going to make it to bronze. So congratulations again to Ascend Beyond. And thank you to both of the players for allowing us to cast this match. Thank you again to Aberar for hosting. And thank you, T-Flame.
Absolutely. And everyone, thank you for watching.
Have a good evening, everyone.